But the American Conference was one of those conferences that had arguably the most turbulence of any team, of any conference in major Division One college football. So there was a lot of changes to the American Conference this year. A lot of change that did see not only Cincinnati, but also UCF and Houston. They all departed from this conference, and taking their place, you got UTSA, you got North Texas, Rice. Rice is also in the American Conference as well. And we also have UAB and Charlotte, I believe. Charlotte is joining the American Conference as well. So that bolsters up to the Americans, who I believe is about 14 teams now. More than enough to have a conference championship game, but it leaves a power vacuum. It does leave a power vacuum and leaves opportunities for, new teams to possibly cement themselves as perennial top dogs of the American, because before that Tulane game, 4 of the last 5 conference champions prior to Tulane winning it in 2022 was either UCF, or it was a Cincinnati, or it was Houston, or it was Houston as well. So just some food for thought there. 5 of the last 7, if you want to go back 7 years. So that being said, a lot of new opportunities. And speaking of that Tulane team, I know Tulane is going to be a darling, not only the American Conference, but a lot of people's pick to be one of the best Power 5 teams, or not Power 5, excuse me, but one of the best group of 5 teams in all of college football this year. But here's the thing with Tulane, okay? Tulane had a great season. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to give them their flowers for a minute, and then I'm going to explain why I'm not looking at Tulane to win the American this year. So they went 12-2. They won the American. They also won the Cotton Bowl. They beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. So, I'm not saying that Tulane is going to have this earth-shattering go back to earth and suddenly have a really difficult time competing for a bowl game. I'm not saying that as well. But they did lose a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. And for most programs, this is not just Group of 5. This is also for the Power 5 as well. It's hard for most programs to replace said talent and then maintain that same level of play. So Tulane, notably on offense, they lost Tyjae Spears, but they also lost several key defenders as well. So they lost some firepower. They lost some key defenders that contribute. And again, I'm not saying that Tulane is going to be bad. I'm not saying that at all. I just have a hard time expecting Tulane to win double-digit games again. And that's also why I'm really looking into a different direction. One team that might be a little bit of a dark horse this upcoming season, and that team is a team that did join the American Conference, coming from Conference USA this year. And that's the UTSA Roadrunners. Now, for those of you that didn't pay as much attention to the UTSA Roadrunners, this UTSA squad quietly has also been one of the best Group of 5 programs out there. They not only are coming off a Conference USA championship, they are the 2-time defending Conference USA championships. And technically, they'll always be able to defend that title because no one's going to be able to, take it away from them on the field, at least not in Conference USA. So they have that in their bag. They went 11-3 last year as well, so another 10-win team. They actually went into bowl season ranked in the top 25. They did lose to the Troy Trojans in the Cure Bowl. Now, Troy themselves was also a really good team last year, and they did actually finish in the AP top 25 to end the season. But this is why I really believe that UTSA could really make some noise. Frank Harris is back. Frank Harris, dude, is absolutely prolific. I think he threw for close to 4,000 yards. This is a solid quarterback. This is a really good quarterback. And this is a really good football team as well. A really good team that's got its quarterback back. And I'm looking at their schedule right now in terms of the American Conference. I really like how their schedule breaks out. I mean, maybe some teams that could be in their same tier as them, SMU, Memphis, East Carolina, those types of teams. I really do like where the schedule stacks up because they get Eastern Carolina at home. They don't have Memphis on their schedule, and they don't have SMU on their schedule as well. So for the most part, they will actually be taking on lesser teams, most of which teams that they already beat back when they were in Conference USA. So they already got that. And the teams that are actually experienced American teams, Temple, I'm not really concerned about them handling Temple, even though that's a road game. We also have South Florida. South Florida's in a rebuild. Really, the key, I could see UTSA winning every single game in the American Conference. The one game that could give them some trouble is the last regular season game. They are on the road against Tulane. That game could really determine whether UTSA is hosting or do they got to go back to New Orleans the following week. And if they're playing in the American Football Championship, go back to New Orleans. Because I've been to an American Conference Championship game at UC, and Cincinnati had that thing sold out. It was absolutely electric. Houston technically gets half the tickets. So like the home team and the away team, they both get 50% of the tickets. But if the away team can't sell theirs, they give them to the home team and distribute the rest of them out. So it was started out as a 50-50 split at my time at University of Cincinnati, not at the University of Cincinnati as a student, but being there at the American Conference Championship game, it turned to be like a 90-10 split. Absolutely electric atmosphere. Would be the same thing at a Tulane or at a UTSA if either of them got to host the American Conference Championship. But that being said, I really, really like this UTS team this year. And some people, a lot of people are writing them off because Tulane is in this conference because of what they did last year. But last year is in the past. This year is a new year. This year is a new day. And because it is a new day, give me UTSA walking into the American Conference and winning their first American Conference championship, year one in the American.